Yeah.
And that's the
Yeah.
beauty of
Yeah.
growing up in a small town.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
That small town love affair, if you will, where we are one big family.
Yeah. That is the part because I came from LA. I came from LA when I was 12. So I knew a little bit, had a little bit of a memory of growing up. I went to the first Montessori school in Santa Monica on the West Coast. Um, and then I came to Aspen. And I gotta say, it was the community part that made it so interesting. Like when we did our graduation, everybody, that where everybody's talking, who do we invite, who do we get to go, and all that stuff. And everybody's talking all these big names because everybody, Aspen had a lot of people to come through the doors. There's even Hunter Thompson's always a name that everybody tosses around. But I felt like for me, I kind of wanted someone that had gone through all the stuff that we had gone through, someone that was akin to our our life. And when they threw out your name, and I was like, that's so perfect because it really stated like how our class felt about the community
Hmm.
was, it wasn't getting someone big and famous, we could do that. That's not a problem. But getting someone who really understands and went through Coach D, like all of us, and did the whole thing, it's like that's such a perfect, not only that, but you made it. You were on the team. You did all this stuff. Yes, you had turns and
Hmm.
strifes and different things and all that stuff, but you were a symbol of someone that stuck to it and got out there and did it. And,
Well,
and when you came and spoke about grit, it was like, oh wow. I mean, you really kind of gave us a lesson there
oh,
to
you mean at the high school graduation?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because you spoke about grit for the
I
first time.
well, there's a couple things I want to lead to from that statement. First, you mentioned Coach DiGregorio, right? So I was the quarterback, and he was always, calling the plays.
Yeah.
So, and we used to always get all these new plays every week, and you know, I was not that much for studying plays, so he'd call a play that I had no idea how to friggin' run it. So I'd call something else, right? And it would die a terrible death. And Dean Gregorio would yell on the football field, "God damn it, Mill, call what I call." And I didn't hear him know that I called a different play. I ended up with an interception or something. Um, but here's the deal. Everybody, from my perspective about winning and trying to do something well, doing something well and winning are two different things.
Mhm.
And I didn't understand about winning until my last year as a ski racer. I was always trying to do well. And meanwhile, the U.S. ski team, the downhill team, was so far behind the eight ball. We got to Val d'Isère, France one year, and the Italian team had fairings on their helmets and behind their knees, and they had bent ski poles and rubberized suits. I looked at Carl Anderson, my roommate. I said, "Dude, we are so toasted. We have no chance." A rubberized suit, just
Yeah.
aerodynamically,
Yeah.
was 2 seconds faster in a 2 minute period, and going 60 miles an hour. That's 88 feet per second times two.
Right.
We're
Right.
giving away 176 feet.
Yeah.
Um, but the grit and the Olympics that we're watching right now on TV.
Yeah.
I did well for a long period of time. In my last year as a ski racer, I understood what it really finally took to win. And there's a big difference. You have to have a desire where you don't sleep. You don't sleep for years.
Mhm.
You are so determined, and so your desires got to be so great that everything is based around winning. Your training, your food, your desires, your coaching has to be great.
Mhm.
And um, I became really good, a much better fly fisherman than I did as an Olympic skier. not many people know this, but 40 years ago, I was hired to produce and host fishing shows. And we did 91 TV shows from around the world.
Oh, wow.
And then I started fishing the big tournaments in the Florida Keys, all the big bonefish, hermit, and tarpon tournaments. And I ended up winning more tournaments than anyone.
Wow.
And what happened was, I realized my very last year on the U.S. ski team, that whole winning thing, and then I got hurt. I was about ready to win. I got fourth in Val Gardena. I had the best time of all the training runs in St. Moritz, and then in the race, my ski fell off. I hurt my knee. Long story short, I hit a fence in Wengen, Switzerland, and I broke my neck, my back, my leg, and all the ligaments in my knee.
Wow.
So that ended my career. So you just jump forward. When I became a saltwater fly fisherman, I had a mentor that was the best in the game. He and one other guy won more saltwater fly tournaments as guides than anyone. And he was my mentor for 7 years.
Wow.
So he groomed me to become a tournament fisherman. Today, I've got 5 contracts with fishing companies. People pay me to help design their fly rods and reels. I have a clothing contract. I have a sunglass contract. It's crazy because most people know me as an Olympic skier around here.
Yeah.
But in the fishing world, my son and I have a podcast called Millhouse Podcast. We interview all these icons and Hall of Fame saltwater fly fishermen.
Wow.
But the only reason, if I would had the same attitude as a fly fisherman as I did as a skier, yeah, I would have been okay. But it wasn't until I figured out how to win and really understand the difference between doing well and winning. And that is a huge difference. So when I spoke at the high school graduation, I really didn't understand the winning aspect yet. Right? Yeah, it takes a lot of pain, a lot of sacrifice to get onto the U.S. ski team. But it takes 1,000 times more than that to win.
Right.
At a world-class level, to win the Olympics, to win on the World Cup tour.
Right.
So you can make teams. And so when you're young, you think, okay, maybe if I keep doing well and winning races in Colorado, and then winning races in the Western states, and then winning at a national level, you make the U.S. ski team. You get a uniform.
Right. And
that pipe dream as a young kid, the Olympics are out there, but you're not really thinking, I want to make the Olympics one day. Right. It's way, way back here, right?
Right.
But you never dream of winning the Olympics.
Right.
Until you finally get at a certain point in time, and then you can start dreaming and attaining that level. And so when I give these seminars around the country, that's what I kind of talk about, how to refine what we do as an art form. And let's just say if you have like the sport of ski racing or catching big tarpon consistently better than everybody else, that jigsaw puzzle that makes the whole has got 1,000 million little pieces. And every piece has to be polished perfectly in order to win. Because if every piece is not polished perfectly, that one piece that's not polished will eventually expose itself.
Right.
And then you lose. Something bad happens. You tie a bad knot. You're skiing. Your technician has to be on the same page as you. He doesn't prepare your skis as well as they need to be prepared. It takes a big team.
Yeah. Oh no.
A really, really big team. And every person has to have that same picture that you have in your mind to win at that level. So it's really hard.
Well, it's interesting because some of what I got out of your grit part, because you talked about all your journey up to the Olympics, and then you're doing that training run, and all of a sudden everything goes downhill. and you had to sit back and sort of think about what your life was about, because it was all about that. And you were telling us, in a sense, that you may have this plan of what you're going to do, but it may not always work out that way. And the truth is that the grit that you had to get you down and get you going, you have to stay on that and apply that to whatever it is that you do, So whether it's fishing, fly fishing, or whether it's ski racing, you have to take that approach and sort of apply it to it and stay with that. Find out what that is in you and apply that to stuff. And I felt like that was at the time, that was an unusual way to look at things, you know? I mean, most people sit there and they just, oh, I could have and I should have, and if I only did this and that. And you didn't have that approach, you know? It felt to me like your approach was to sort of take your same way of approaching life there and apply it to some other things, you know?
Well, look, everything we do, you can do it to the best of your ability, or you can get by.
Right.
And a lot of times you're not ready to do certain things. Like, and it's hard to always be really way up here in all of your efforts and what you do. Like some days you just want to go hiking and you don't want to have your heart blowing out of your throat every step. But you're still in the game, you know?
Yeah.
But as far as work-related stuff, and you know, like I said before, do you want to do well or do you want to win?
Right.
That applies in life as well as sports.
Yeah.
So when you become really good at something, that transfers over to the other things that you want to do, you know? And it's like, a lot of times you don't have the time to really perfect other things, but you got to give it your best shot.
Right. Right.
That's what I try to tell people. Look, to win is not easy.
Right.
You know, like, do you want to win or do you just want to be okay?
Right.
Do you want to have a great job and make a lot of money and really perform at a great level? Or do you want to wash dishes your whole life?
Right.